So scenario 6, Age of Annihilation, Blizzard Blitz. That's what we're going to start with. Let's first get to the lore. So we'll just start from the top. Vision of Conspirators, and I'll read through all of these, and then without any comment, and then I'll read through them again with comment. So we just get the gist of it. So Vision of Conspirators. Leviatak's cadre follows the swiftly fading footprints of the pirates. Without Nirak's tracking skills, the trail would have gone cold days ago. Now reaching the northeast border of Lar, it is clear this crew is using the snowstorms to make a stealthy trespass into Nostraland, to sabotage Jandar himself. Raylan was right, she thinks to herself. This freezing tempest makes effective cover for an incursion into Jandarian territory. The bottled venom will not reach its original mark. While Jandar's demise will have its time, it shall not be brought by this veil of vile liquid. This toxin has a better use, and the tarnished legacy of a cruel lord like Ukar is more deserving of its torment. After decades of overextended attacks and single-minded plans, a draught of liquid paranoia could erode the remaining dregs of goodwill Ukar maintains amongst the most loyal of the Bleakwood tribes. Without his supporters, a new dynasty shall rise. A dynasty unshackled by the failures of its preceding lord. A dynasty born from a few fateful drops of this mysterious poison. Leviatak keeps this ambition kindled, warming her against the icicles clinging to her armor. The final element for her plans should be easy to obtain. A few untrained scoundrels will stand no chance against her most trusted warriors. Interesting. Okay. All right, let's do the next one. Vision of Voidwing's crew. Killian calls the crew forward. Half whispering, he directs the deckhands following him over a frozen crossing. Biting winds and stinging sleet buffet the soldiers. Buffet. Oh my gosh. And the fragile surface threatens to crack at any moment. Captain Fia stays in front of Quartermaster Killian, scouting the path and pointing out the areas where the ice is thickest. Her numb fingers keep a tight grip, one hand holding her hood against the bitter winds and the other on her knife, creeping along. The crew follows her measured movements. Finally, the crew reaches a gravelly shoreline, a place to sit and catch their breath. As Dorum and Killian go to divvy up rations, Fia gestures quickly with her hands. Enemy. Following. Utgar. Battle axe. Killian tenses up, then does his best to compose himself before informing the crew. All right, you rim-crusted whelps. We have guests for our little hike. It's time for us to give them our sincerest gratitude for standing by while their insufferable lords dragged us all here. Excuse me. First one to bring Captain Fia a pair of wings gets free grog for a month. As the crew howls with wild glee, Killian hopes his false bravado is enough to inspire them. They will need to fight harder than they ever have before. If even half the rumors are true, this is going to be their toughest battle yet. They both know that few manage to survive an encounter with the champion of spined armor. Interesting. Okay, we're going to skip over this a second. And this third one. This is a lot of lore to read. to make sure. Okay, there's no. As one thing I was thinking I was reading, is there any mysterious messages? But no, not this time. Okay, from the pen of Shiori, 22nd of Dagmar. Sonlen. Something unexpected has happened as I monitor the pirates. While blending in with the Voidwing's crew, I joined in on a mission to poison Jandar's wellspring in Nastralund. As we marched through a snowstorm, I contemplated the best way to sabotage these plans without revealing myself. Before I could, though, someone else spared me the trouble. It seems some of Utgar's forces, led by Leviatak of the Golden Axe, wanted the poison for themselves. They descended upon us like demons, slaughtering several crew members before wounding the ship's quartermaster and stealing the vial. Before they could finish killing off, though, one of Akila's old dwarves rallied the rest of the crew and sent Utgar's forces on the retreat, poison in hand. Our survival was unexpected, and only possible thanks to the rally and worsening weather. I'm writing this from the Voidwing, where the survivors of the mission are recuperating. I've been thinking about the attack. Why were we targeted? And why would the attackers want the poison? It would make sense if Utgar wants to weaponize it, but stopping a poisoning in Jandar's domain seems too foolish for even that big red oaf. Why prevent an advantage against a sworn enemy? And why send a venerated champion like Leviatak that deep into enemy territory without announcing your presence to instill fear in the people of Lar and Nostraland? Something is not right. We need to keep an eye on Utgar's forces, and especially a Leviatak. Excuse me. I'm off to Bleakwood as soon as we dock next dock at port. Wait to send for me until I've established a new location. Shiori. All right. This is interesting. Here, I'm going to cough again. Here, hold on a second. Yeah, okay. Cough again, take a drink. Okay, well, this is interesting. So, this is a story that's told in 3 different parts and perspectives. One is before the event, one is kind of during the event, and one is a telling basically what happens after the event is done. So that's very interesting. I believe the event is probably them like clashing together at this ford. So let's first go through this one, the first one that we read, Vision of Conspirators. Okay, so this is basically a narrative from Leviatak's side. And it says, Leviatak's cadre follows the swiftly fading footprints of the pirates. So she's tracking them with the help of Nirak. It's interesting they bring Nirak in. I mean, Nirak is the, Nirak the Glacian Swag Rider. So Nirak is an orc, obviously a scout tracker that would be beneficial in northern icy reaches, because he's the Glacian Swag Rider. So it's kind of interesting that they fit him in there. Although I don't think it's going to be easy for people to get a Nirak. I mean, the Nirak I have has the mount, not the actual orc. Or is that no? Has like the swag, but not the orc mounted on top of it. That's what I want to say. Still usable, but it's a hard one to find if you're not trying to spend so much money. So yeah, the trail would have gone cold days ago without Nirak's tracking skills. So Nirak's in that group now. And as we read further on, Leviatak isn't there under anyone's orders but herself. Now reaching the northeast border of Lour, and if you want to know where Lour is, there is Lour right here, and we're talking northeast. So northeast would be like right here, into Nostraland. Because Nostraland is where Yandar's territory is. Utengard is mostly where Utgar resides, right there. So you can see how close they kind of actually are. They're just kind of like, you know, a couple civilizations away from each other. But Laur is basically a wasteland. It used to be, you know, filled with cities and stuff, and now it's just a bunch of ruins, a ruined mess. But they're kind of like in the northern regions here, where there's more chance to get ice and snow, as you can see by the highlight here on the top of this map. Let's see here. Okay, and this crew, so she's talking about pirates, is using the snowstorms to make a stealthy trespass into Nostraland. So they're trying to invade Nostraland to sabotage Yandar himself. So this tells us something important. Just because some Valkyrie generals have been poisoned, not all of them have. At least according at this time, it means Jandar is not currently poisoned, at least not by the pirates, and neither is Utgar. Although it seems like there are two forces that are trying to get them poisoned. And so Raylan, doesn't seem like Raylan's part of this group either, because, she thinks about Raylan, doesn't necessarily mean that Raylan's in this group. It says Raylan was right, she thinks to herself. Or it can indicate that, yes, Raylan is in this group. Raylan was right, she thinks to herself. The freezing tempest makes effective cover for an incursion into Jandarian territory. The bottle venom will not reach its original mark, while Jandar's demise will have its time. So she's still planning to take care of Jandar sometime. It shall not be brought by this vial of vile liquid. So, we're still doing the bottle thing. This toxin has a better use, and the tarnished legacy of a cruel lord like Utgar is more deserving of its torment. So what we're looking at here is the development of a coup, looks like. And, this is one thing when it comes to Utgar. Especially when I was developing things within Tales of Valhalla, even though most of the Valkyrie generals aren't involved in the storyline of Tales of Valhalla. I always imagined Utgar's forces always were finding ways to backstab them or turn against them, or to gain the upper hand. They serve them, but if there's ever a chance for them to overpower them or gain their own power and reject them, they take it. And this seems like the attitude of Leviatak herself. So that's interesting. Let's see here. It says the bottle of venom with Jandar's demise. After decades of overextended attacks and single-minded plans, a draught of liquid paranoia could erode the remaining dregs of goodwill Utgar maintains amongst the loyal of the Bleakwood tribes. So this shows that Utgar's leadership is waning anyway, and although I think it's kind of funny that you're asking, you're plotting to get a mad tyrant even more mad and crazy, not if he's already not crazy enough. You want to give him this special poison, but this poison will eventually kill you. It drives you, as far as I know, from what I understand, it drives you insane, and then ultimately you die. So yeah, it's although since it's already known, already enough people know about Valkyrie generals being poisoned, they would have to know someone's making a play. But okay. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Leviatak keeps this ambition kindled, meaning I'm pretty sure that means she's keeping it to herself, warming her against the icicles clinging to her armor. This final element for her plans should be easy to obtain. A few untrained scoundrels will stand no chance against her most trusted warriors. That's interesting. So see, she's leading an army. probably a small army, to get after these pirates. Now let's move on to the next one. Vision of the Voidwing's crew. Killian calls the crew forward. So now this one was them tracking the pirates, and this one is the pirates noticing them and getting themselves ready for a fight. Killian calls the crew forward, half whispering. He directs the deckhands, follow him over the frozen crossing. Biting winds, stinging sleep buffet the sailors, and the fragile surface threatens to crack any moment. Yeah, so the pirates are kind of crossing into from Lower. So maybe if they sailed, maybe they sailed like to here, and we're like crossing like areas like northeast here, because that would be icy. Depending on the seasons, there would be ice and snow in this area of Lower and Nostralen. For sure. Captain Fia stays in front of Quartermaster Killian, scouting the path and pointing out the areas where the ice is thickest. Excuse me. Her numbered fingers keep a tight grip. And this kind of shows rates that they, even the pirates don't trust each other. Her hand holding her hood against the bitter winds, the other on her knife, creeping along. The crew follows her measured movements. Finally, the crew reaches a gravelly shoreline, a place to sit and catch their breath. As Dorm and Killian go to divvy up rations, Fia gestures quickly with her hands. So maybe she's like gesturing towards it seems like Killian. And this is one thing too. It seems like Fia is making gestures because Fia doesn't talk. Otherwise, she would be talking. Either that or she just wants to keep quiet. Although I don't think pirates are like experts in stealth, with the exception of maybe Fia. Enemy following Utgar, battle axe. Killian tenses up, then does his best to compose himself before informing the crew. I imagine Killian is just being like the opposite of Fia here. I mean, he's just bombastic type of pirate. As it says here, all right, you rime-crusted whelps, we have guests for a little hike. It's time for us to give them our sincerest gratitude for standing by while their insufferable lords dragged us all here. And I think that's a reference to the pirates have a kind of a grudge against the Valkyrie generals for sending them to Valhalla. I mean, this is why the pirates are, against all Valkyrie generals and are not pledging themselves to any Valkyrie. First one to bring Captain Fia a pair of wings gets free grog for a month, which all pirates would be happy. Yay, yay, alcohol. We need the alcohol. As the crew howls with wild glee, Killian hopes his false bravado. So, I mean, Killian is all show, but he probably is like saying this very, very, very nervously, is enough to inspire them. They'll need to fight harder than they ever have before, if even half the rumors are true. Yeah, going up against Leviatak. I mean, and I don't know what the scenario is going to be, but if you have like even like Fia and Killian and some of the pirate squads up against like Leviatak, minions of Utgar, Raylan, that's a tough army to beat for pirates. I mean, Leviatak is quite good. I mean, I've played those a few times. They both know that few manage to survive an encounter with the champion of spined armor. So this is just before the encounter. They notice Leviatak swooping in for the kill. Leviatak is, and they don't know that Leviatak's out to get their bottle. Wipe them out, try and wipe them out, but the bottle of poison is her target. And then we have written from Shiori to Sonlen, so like Sonlen's getting lots of correspondence here. Now Shiori has, I think we've already known this, that Shiori has infiltrated, the pirates, and in disguise. That's interesting. I mean, I guess she would kind of be a master at that, being a stealthy ninja that she is. And she writes Sonlen something unexpected has happened as I monitor the pirates while blending in with the Voidwing's crew. And okay, here's that. Who wants like a Voidwing pirate ship, you know, type like deck or some type of battle build playset you could build out of terrain pieces? I'd take it. I don't care if it costs 100, 150. I buy it. I'd buy it. That would be cool to have like a Voidwing terrain set. I joined in on a mission to poison Jandar's wellspring in Nostraland as we marched through a snowstorm. I contemplated the best way to sabotage these plans without revealing myself. So she followed along with them, but she obviously didn't want Jandar poisoned. But while she was figuring out what to do, so before I could though, which could have revealed herself to them, to be perfectly honest, someone else spared me the trouble. It seems some of Utgar's forces, led by Leviatak of the Golden Axe, wanted to poison for themselves. They descended upon us like demons, slaughtering several crew members before wounding the ship's quartermaster and stealing the vial. Before they could finish killing off, though, one of Akila's old dwarves, and we know what dwarf that is, that's Dorn, rallied the rest of the crew and sent Utgar's forces on the retreat, poison in hand. Well, and I mean, I'm sure it didn't take much for Leviatak to retreat if she got the vial. That was primary objective number one. Our survival was unexpected and only possible thanks to the rally and worsening weather. Okay, yeah, probably Utgarians don't love the cold too much. I'm writing this from the Voidwing, where the survivors of the mission are recuperating. I've been thinking about the attack. Why were we targeted, and why would the attackers want the poison? It would make sense if Utgar wants to weaponize it, but stopping a poisoning in Jandar's domain seems too foolish for even that big red oaf. So she's trying to think about, okay, why did this happen? Was this directed by Utgar or some other reason? Why prevent an advantage against a sworn enemy? And why send a venerated champion like Leviatak that deep into enemy territory without announcing your presence to instill fear in the people of Lar and Nostralan? Something is not right. We need to keep an eye on Utgar's forces, and especially Leviatak. I'm off to Bleakwood as soon as we dock at next port. Interesting. Wait to send for me until I've established a new location. So it seems like at the end of this that her being a spy is done, and she's going to like get out from where, you know, from her undercover life as a pirate, and maybe this will mean that Shiori will join Sonlen on his quest, and that they'll team up. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, that is 3 pages of lore of this type of storyline of this event that happens. So pirates were given a directive to poison Yandar, and Leviatak intercepts them and steals the vial of poison for her own uses. Some pirates survive because Shiori was among them, and she survives as well as a spy. And then at the end of it all, Shiori, you know, is resting and recovering on the Voidwing, and then seems like she's going to leave the pirates and probably join Sonlen sometime after. So that's how things are going so far. I mean, it's a nice little bit of a story, and it's bringing in lots of characters from different realms. I mean, if you count it, you got Shiori, you got kind of like Sonlen receiving Shiori's message. You got Leviatak, Utgar. You got this pirate faction, and you got Jandar too. I mean, Jandar is like kind of indirectly mentioned, but it plays a part in it because Jandar was going to be a proposed victim of this poisoning from these pirates. So It's very interesting. I don't know if pirates would have succeeded if Jandar's borders were like so secure, but maybe they had their ways. I mean, maybe Theobani could have like voided in, you know, to his castle or something. But yeah, so that's looking at this part of lore from this scenario number 6, Blizzard Blitz. I could say my evaluation is it's not bad. I mean, it's a story like from beginning, middle to end, and from 3 different perspectives. Pretty solid. I'm hoping in the future, like as the months continue this year, we get like even more Meteor stuff. And eventually they're gonna have to make a book, you know, of all these lore pages and stuff. That would be kind of cool. Just so we have, you know, that collection of them up somewhere. I'd buy it. I certainly would buy it. So that's taking a look from the pen of Shiori in Sonlen's journal keeping of the stories of Sonlen and friends.